Peace and blessings to all, and welcome to episode 2 of Speak the Truth, Street Safe podcast. And today we have a very, very special guest from our community, Ms. Cassandra Stevenson. We really appreciate you coming here, and she is going to talk with us about her unfortunate experience and how she's been able to deal with losing her son to gun violence. So we send out our prayers and condolences and well wishes and thoughts to your entire family and to all of the mothers and fathers who have lost our valuable young men from our community, because they are definitely a valuable, viable resource that we are losing on a daily, if not a weekly basis. So we want to give you the opportunity, Ms. Stevenson, just to tell us a little bit about your son, Andrew Stevenson, who we affectionately, some of us knew him as Baba.
Andrew was my son, and he lost his life December 20th, 2020 to gunshot. Andrew was just himself, being himself, socialized with a lot of people, and he just was just trying to get himself together. He went to prison, he came home, and he was looking for a change. He no longer lives in Bridgeport. He just was here to visit his family and his fiance's mother. He was just trying to take that straight road. Sometimes you had to make the left, sometimes you had to make the right. But he came home and he talked to me. I just want to go straight. He was a good dude. He made me happy. I love him. I miss him. Too bad this had to happen to him. He was real cool with everybody. He loved everybody. He just wanted peace at the end of the day, no matter what. Came from the East End. He was born and raised on the East End. We lived over there for about 13 years. I decided to make a change for my kids and move to the West Side, which there's no different, but just to know that once you move, it can be a different.
That's right.
I did it. I moved far away. Nobody wanted to come over there. He didn't even want to come home, but he came home every night, but he left every morning. He went to Hardin High School for a couple of years. Then when we moved to the West, he went to Bassett. He loved his nieces. He loved his nephews. He loved everybody. Sister, brother, we got along real good. Baba was just his own man. He was very different. Totally different from us as growing up as kids. He always kept a smile on our face, whether we down or whether we up. We had good times. It was a shock to us to hear this news on that day. When we heard it, we said no, it wasn't him. But my daughter was there and she seen Baba lying on the floor. So she called and she said, it is him. I said, okay. We went to the hospital, and sad day. But my son is human too.
Yes, ma'am.
And he didn't deserve what happened to him for the things that we heard. I'm a type of person that try not to listen to he say, she say, because it's disturbing.
Yes, ma'am.
But I know my son, and I know what my son is capable of. He was a good dude. He didn't deserve that. And for all mothers, knowing that their child is out there just trying to have a good time and end up in a situation like this needs to stop.
Amen. Amen.
You know, it's only getting worse by the day, by the week, by the month, by the year. We need to stick together and see what we can do about this.
Absolutely. And I just want to say that, you know, I had the pleasure of personally knowing him as I know you and your family, and he was a very bright young man. And just like a lot of our young men, you know, they find themselves becoming victims of circumstances, and there's a lot of underlying conditions that the reason why our community is in the condition that it is because a lot of times there's a lack of resource, a deficient educational system, and a lot of times we just totally disenfranchised and resources are blocked from coming in our community. And, you know, these things begin to destroy the family structure, and unfortunately, you know, situations of frustration, anger amongst our young men who really just trying to find themselves.
That's it.
And it leads to situations where valuable young men lose their life over something that sometimes could only be words, and it could lead to violence, which I don't know his situation, which is not important, but the important fact is that we lost him as we lost other young men.
Yeah, another young man, the same one that killed him, he also lost another man.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's sad.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The other kid is part of my sister's. He was brought up, you know, somewhat over her house. Baba didn't know him. He knew him, but he didn't hang around him because them were my sister's kids' friend. And the saddest thing is that they still knew each other. Him and Baba had a confrontation over the summer, but then it ended. So as it ended, Baba was able to talk to him as a man, you know, being the older one and stuff like that. And I don't know what happened afterward. Like I said, I don't really like listening to what people say and stuff like that. But it was supposed to be a squash thing and happened to don't. It didn't end up that way. But the saddest thing is that he killed my son. And I don't know who did it or how, why, or what. His life was taken. And for us to keep dealing with stuff like this is not going to work at all.
Absolutely not. Right.
You know, my heart is very heavy, just as well probably as his mother's heart is very heavy.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going to have dinner with you, but I'm going to give you my condolences. I just want peace after all of this. Baba worked so hard to become the man that he was, and he was a man. Yes, he graduated from high school. He worked so hard, day and night. He played on the basketball team. He did a lot. He was in the studio. He did a lot for the last couple of years that I was very happy. And matter of fact, 4 years now, because since he graduated from high school, I noticed a difference in him being his own person. I mean, he hung around people, you know, but he knew when to back up and say, I'm going home. This is enough for me.
Yes, ma'am.
So he was totally different, you know, in my eyes, for me to see my child growing up, and now my child is dead. I don't understand that part, but only the man, Allah, God, knows best.
Yes, ma'am. And before we go forward, I just wanted to say to our viewers and listeners that, and also to the other young man that lost his life, to his parents and his family, we also send our sincere condolences and prayers. And going forward, what advice, because this is something that's been happening in our community, and a lot of women are in pain, and fathers, mothers and fathers are losing their children to gun violence. What advice would you give those mothers and fathers who have been through this traumatizing experience of losing a child to gun violence?
The best thing is, like for me, I don't know about for anybody else, but my grandkids makes me keep going on. I'm the one that holds me up and give me the strength to keep moving forward. Find something positive to do. It's a hurting thing. When your knees hit the floor, they hit the floor. Get up. It's just like praying. Get up, keep your head up, and pray.
Amen.
That's all we can do. Because
Amen.
nobody knows until they hit their home what it is.
Amen. And what advice do you think, if you even thinking about that, if not, that's fine, you don't have to answer that question. But what advice would you give to our young people who are thinking that they need to solve conflicts by violence, that violence is a solution? What advice would you give to our young people?
Talking is one of the most things that a lot of us don't do. We hold things back. And my advice is for mothers, try to talk to their children. Try to get to know them, not because they're your kids, but get to know them more than anything in this world. That way, it could, even if we gotta go to the park or go somewhere, just to talk about things, because a lot of people don't know what's on people's mind today.
That's right.
Our kids' minds is not the same. And a lot of people hold back, the way they grow up in their home. No. It's what's on their mind and what they feel like they want to do. My advice, if you know your child, I can look at my son. I always look at my son and know when he did something, when he stole that cookie out the cookie jar. I always knew he did it. Some of us still wondering and blaming the other kids for doing it. No, just pay attention to your kids. So they sit back and talk to them about anything, about somebody else, anything. Because a lot of them don't have nobody really to talk to. And they just go in the streets and do whatever they feel like what they want to do. Me being a parent, and I'm, doing my best in raising my kids as a single mother. I mean, husbands and kids' father and everything was there, but I still felt I was in charge. Pay attention to your kids because you're missing something. We are missing a whole lot, I mean, it just have to be time for your kids right about now. Young ones, grandchildren's, everything, so we could stop this. So if you look at your grandkid, you know how you look at a person and say, I know where he gonna be, or I know where he gonna be. It's true.
Amen.
It's so true. But it don't have to be like that. Let's just focus on what we need to focus on right now.
Good point. And to the young people out there, I just want to say, especially our young men, is I know from unfortunate personal experience that, it doesn't make you more of a man.
No.
And more masculine because you respond with violence. And the biggest thing is we have to learn how to value our own life, so then that when we see our own people in our community, and when I say our community, it don't matter what side of
Town
town
you're from.
that you
Exactly.
from. We
Right.
all suffering the same experience, and we from the same community.
Yes.
And today is my sister's crying, this brother's mother's crying, his brother's mother's crying tomorrow, and we're losing the valuable resource of human life that's worth more than any diamonds, gold, oil, anything you can think about. There's nothing more valuable than your life, young man. And see that other brother, he may be across town, but he's a reflection of you. And if I could take you, because not only was I in prison, but I've been going back in prisons for the last 11 years and sitting and talking with brothers who got 80 years, some brothers who got triple life, and they all say the same thing. Man, if I just would have thought that day.
Yes.
If I just would have thought, if I could go back and I just would have thought that day before I acted, instead of thinking now after I acted, I wouldn't be in this predicament. And this person has to live with the fact that they not only destroyed someone else's life, but they destroyed their own life in the process. So that's just something to think about. And I know that's real heavy. And I just want to ask you if you feel comfortable, because this is a serious burden that a lot of our mothers carry, in particular, and our fathers who lose children to gun violence. What does the word forgiveness mean to you, and how have you been able to basically just embrace that idea of forgiveness concerning the loss of your son?
I can, and I can't.
That's okay. You be perfectly honest. It's okay.
But I want to forgive. Well, I do forgive everyone that's involved, that's not, I'm just going to keep my head up. I'm a loner anyway, so it's not like I want to have dinner, but I will keep my mouth closed. Stick to my grandkids. I'm telling you, God is so awesome.
Yes, he is.
I don't think about nothing and nobody right now, as long as I have them.
Amen.
And if you find something to do to get involved or something like that, you don't have to worry about nothing else. Forgiveness. Only person you really want to forgive you is God. I mean, I'm not looking right now. I'm not looking at my outskirts. I'm just looking in the inside.
Yeah.
Because of my son is not here with me no more. And I get frustrated, get aggravated. I'm not looking for that life anymore. This is not good for no parent.
Yes.
No parent. I don't care who it is to go through this. Ask God, talk to God, talk to somebody. These kids need to talk to somebody.
That's important. Very important.
And one thing Baba always said, I listen, Ma. I listen for anybody conversation. Somebody have something good to say to me, I listen. If you just listen to the kids, maybe they would do something else, probably go down another road or something like this. I don't know, but we need to focus really, because nobody wants to forgive, But as long as God forgive me, I'm all right.
Amen. Amen. And that leads me to the next question, because you mentioned your grandchildren. And
Yes.
That's a joy, and you feel the commitment to take care of them on behalf of your son, on behalf of Baba. What do you believe is helping you the most in the healing process? As we, it's a lifelong journey.
Nothing. Honestly, nothing can heal this pain. Nothing. But to help my grandkids out can ease my pain.
Amen.
And work. I work 7 days a week. I see them twice a week now. Just keep my mind focused, try not to turn around too much. Try to keep my head straight. because the devil can be a liar, as they always say. So basically, it's just me. My other kids are there. I'm thankful, you know, they encourage me and stuff like that. But when you lose one of your kids, you don't want to hear too much from them. Just because that one's not there, it's not the end of the world. But I just keep praying and praying and praying and hope that this pain healed, but this pain would never heal. Every morning I wake up, every afternoon, every night. Sleepless nights. Only sleep 3 or 4 hours a night. And keep going, keep going. The man above got me. Mothers, please talk to your children. Don't argue with them. Don't fuss with them, because it's going to make them even run even more. Love them. And I love Baba. I love Baba. More than words can say. Let's just find another way, guys. Please, for your sake. And they don't even really realize the mother got to suffer the most. You know, just find another route. We used to fight when we was kids.
Be playing with each other 30 minutes later.
Next minute. Now it's getting rough out there. Yeah. Mothers, my condolences to all the mothers, just as well as myself. Now I know your pain.
And I just want to thank you because, you know, you talked about the pain never being healed, but you talked about the things you do to help ease the pain. And I think that's going to help a lot of mothers. And in closing, I just want to say I appreciate you coming.
Yes.
And to all those organizations out there that have been doing that work to comfort mothers like Ms. Stevenson, we really appreciate the work that you're doing out there. There's a lot of different groups out there.
Yeah.
I know Yana was one of them and some other groups. And then, you know, mothers, you see these brothers as the street safe workers out there, pull them to the side, talk to them, introduce them to your son, allow them to develop that relationship with them to be able to prevent incidents like this from happening. And then, Cassandra, if you have any closing thoughts for us, we leave the floor to you. And thank you again for giving us this opportunity to talk with you.
Well, thank you for having me. Hope I helped someone. Hope we continue, make this year a better year, because it's starting up just about the same. Let's erase this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move forward. Let's get peace back in Bridgeport. Let's get love back in Bridgeport. This is not the answer. All mothers should come together and try to make it better for Bridgeport kids.
Amen.
I mean, it ain't gonna happen overnight, but it's gonna happen. I believe in God that this charade shall overcome.
That's right.
This, whatever, you know, we should just go through life happy once again. We got the corona, we got natural cause, the killing, all this in 1 year, you add it all up. It's like a war. We don't need a war. We don't need all that nonsense. Thank you.
Thank you.